The last session we discussed about how to reshape the data, okay, and what is transpose and what is pivoting, unpivoting, and unpivoting. Also, we explored the three different options, okay, and then yeah. So today, what we will do is we'll continue with creating the custom columns. Okay, we'll create the custom columns, and then we will see how we can create the conditional columns, and then how we can remove the duplicate records, okay, and how we can do the date formatting, create new columns, okay, columns from example. We'll take a look. I just write it here so that you'll be able to understand. First, you need to understand what we are going to cover today, okay. See, the one is we are going to discuss about so adding new columns. Adding new columns to the existing table, and then columns from examples. Columns from examples. This is an awesome feature. And the third one is the conditional columns. Conditional columns. And the next one is identify and remove blank and duplicate records. And then we will take a look at how do we append the data? How do we append the data? Append the data from multiple files. Okay, so adding new columns, column from examples, conditional columns, and identify and remove the blank and duplicate records, append the data. So as part of the transformation, so we discussed about ETL. E stands for extract the data from different source systems, because in the enterprises, large enterprise, if you look at it here, even mid-sized and large enterprises, the data are available in different source systems. Okay, before we create a report, we need to make sure that which all source systems the data are available in order to create the report. For example, they wanted to create a financial report. In the financial report, you need to have the gross revenue. You need to display the gross revenue, gross margin, net margin, and net revenue, and then net margin percentage, operating margin. Okay, all these data, right? For in order to display all these KPIs, key performance indicators, or other visuals in your finance dashboard or report, you need to know from which source system the columns are available. Okay, in that you need to find out. As for the requirements design, right? The detailed requirements document at high level design phase, they will identify what are the source systems, the required columns are available in which tables. Once they identify which tables or which files, once they identify those things, right? So those tables or files, data will be extracted from those respective source systems. And then what we do is we will perform the data transfer. As part of data transfer, sometimes what we will do is, right, we will be adding new columns in addition to the existing columns in your table or data file, because with the existing columns that you extracted from the source system are not sufficient to create your reports, because your reports requires additional information. Okay, those additional information you can derive it from the existing columns. For example, you have a column called, right, order number, order date, columns like this one. Okay, and then the SKU, okay, and product ID, and then the customer key, region key, and quantity, list price, and sale amount. These are the values are available, but to create the finance report, we need to know the operating margin, and we need to know the gross margin, gross profit, net margin, net revenue, and net margin percentage. So the net margin percentage, gross revenue, net revenue. These are the things are not available with the source system table columns. For that, what you need to create additional columns, but those columns, to create those columns, you will be using the existing columns. Okay, sometimes it is also called as a derived columns, right? So some people, they call it derived columns because the new columns we created based on the existing columns. Okay, based on the existing columns, we will create it. And then what we do is the next thing is, okay, conditional columns. Sometimes what will happen is based on some condition, we are going to create new columns. So for example, I wanted to create some kind of bucketing. Okay, so we categorize the price column into 3 different classes. One is the low price and medium price and high price. Okay, I need to create a new column, price bucket, something like price bucket, wherein I need to make sure that those products we sell it between so and so range or called as low price. Okay, so this one needs to be derived based on the price column value. Okay, the values that are available in price, we are going to derive this bucket column. Okay, so this new column. So why do I need to create this bucket column? Because how many number of transactions, how many number of orders we received for so and so product, which have lower price. Okay, and so on. Okay, and even similarly for medium and high price. Okay, by knowing that, what am I going to get to know that? The next one is obviously they wanted to understand the revenue and then the margin. How much margin? So net, we wanted to understand of these 3 categories, in which category we have generated more profit or more revenue and more profit. It is not that only high priced products we can get more margin. Okay, we get more margin, but that doesn't mean the medium or low buckets we don't get more margin or more revenue, right? So sometimes what will happen is in the medium priced product, we are selling it more in terms of quantity. Okay, more the quantity, though the margin is not so high compared to the high price bucket, but still because of more number of quantity, we are able to sell it compared to high and low thing, right? So the margin is, even though it is less, you can see that the profitability is more sometimes, right? So for that kind of analysis, we want to create a column. So this column, we need to derive it based on the existing column, the already existing column price, okay, the list price. With that help, right, we are going to find out this one, okay? And that kind of situations, the conditional columns, right? Here we are defining the rule. So, which all, and how do we flag the transactions, a row, which all transactions are related to medium price, which all transactions related to high price. For that, we are defining the rule. So if the price is between $1 to $500, right? So these prices are called low priced, and anything above 500 to 5,000 is medium, and above 5,000 to above 5,000 we call it as high price. Right, so we have to define the rule. So in that kind of situation, the conditional column feature, that is, that feature is very much helpful. Next one is, okay, now we have added columns, everything. In case of any blank record, duplicate records, we will be identifying and removing it. Apart from this, we are going to append the data. For example, we wanted to generate a weekly sales report. But each day sales is available in a separate file. So in that case, 7 days file, 7 days daily sales files, we need to combine it, or we need to append it, or we need to consolidate into a single file. So in that kind of situation, append the data. So in this case, 7 days data, are available, separate files, right? Each day, separate files are available. We need to combine those things into a single file. But some case, what will happen is monthly reports. In the case of monthly report, you need to combine 4 weeks data into a single file. Okay. So in that kind of situation, we'll be using append data. Anyhow, don't worry, we will go one by one. So first we'll see, we'll take a look at how we can add the new columns. So what I do is I just go to the data view, and then we'll take a look at the sales by sales W04. It takes some time. Okay, good. Order date, ship date, everything is available. All these columns are available. Very, very good. But here I could see that sales and quantity column is available. Unfortunately, I don't have the price column is available. The list price column is not available. So in that case, if I have the list price column, then I can, you remember, I was talking about the bucketing, high price, low price products, or medium price products. Okay. So only when I have the price column, I'll be able to create a new column by the name of price bucket, because my manager wants to see, with these three buckets, high, medium, low buckets of the price bucket, in which bucket we got more revenue and more profitability. He wants to analyze from that standpoint. Hence, you need to have a column by the name of price. Sorry, yeah, price, right? But unfortunately, we don't have the price. What he says is, okay, you can take the quantity and then divide the quantity, sales by the quantity. So in that case, what will happen is you will get some value, that is your, he says, okay, that is fine. Though it is not the exact price, you can still go ahead with that. Okay. So because your sales, this one could be net sales or it could be gross sales. Okay. In the case of gross sales, you did not subtract the discount or any sale offer, right? You don't subtract it. You don't even subtract the tax. Okay. But still, he says, okay, you can go ahead and then you can divide this value with this one. So you can get the correct one. Okay. Probably on the approximate list price. Okay. What I do is I just go to the home ribbon, and then I just select the transform data, and then it'll open the Power Query editor. Here, what we do is we have an option called add column. So we have a ribbon called add column. This is pretty much handy when it comes to creating new columns. So what I do is I just go here, and then probably I will select the quantity column. But quantity is there, but the sales is in ABC text data type. I right click. This one already discussed it. I just replace this dollar by nothing. If I don't specify anything here, in the case of text column, this one will be considered what is that? Empty string. So I just click on OK. So the dollar was replaced by empty string. Now we stripped the dollar from this column. So I can go ahead and convert it to decimal number, because sales is a decimal value, right? It will have the decimal value in it. It is not a whole number. But we could see NA here. So in the case of Power BI, it assigns NA for those records do not have any values in it. What I will do is I will replace the NA by 0. Now I am good to go with convert this as decimal data. Converting the data is pretty simple. You just click on this icon, and then you have decimal number, fixed decimal, whole number. I just selected the decimal number. Now I was able to convert this successfully as a decimal number data. But if you see the first row, we have the null value here. But if you see across the columns, we don't see any value in that column. So what I am going to do is I'm going to remove the blank record. So I just clicked on the home ribbon, and here what I do is remove rows. remove top rows, and then I just put 1 because in my case I want to remove the first record only. I click on OK. The first record got removed. Very good. Okay, we are all set. The next one is the quantity column. The quantity column is my number data type. Number data, whole number. Okay. So now what I do is I just go to the add column ribbon, and here I have something called custom column. Can you see it here? This is called your custom column. I'm going to click on this custom column. Here what I do is I just say list price, and here let me do one thing. Let me select the sales column divided by space divided by your quantity. Okay, I click on OK. Look here, a new column by the list price got created. But if you see the decimal value, right, number of decimal places or right, decimal values are more here. Or I need just 2 decimal value here. So I just click on it here, and then I choose fixed decimal number. When you choose fixed decimal number data type, you can see the decimal values are 2 consistently across the values in this column. Okay, now we got the list price. Very good. We are able to create a new column based on the existing 2 columns. What are those 2 columns? What are those 2 columns? Sales by quantity, sales and quantity. We have divided the quantity by the sales by quantity. So, and then the output of that one we stored in a column called list price for each line item. So good. So this is one scenario where you can create the derived column. Okay, what are the other scenarios that I can create custom column? There are many scenarios we can create the custom column. Sometimes the custom column will get created implicitly. One second. Okay, so see, there is another requirement. Your manager says, okay, fine, you agree to the price, list price column, fine. And the next one is he wants to see the net profit margin. Okay, you just assume that the revenue, right? So the sales is there. Okay, what I'll do is I'll just go to the add column. I'm going to create another column. He wants to see the net profit margin. I just give this as a net profit margin. Here, I just subtract the sales. Okay, one second. Where is the sales column? Okay, before that, before we do that, we need to have the cost price, right? We need to know the cost of goods sold. Revenue minus cost divided by revenue. That one will give you the profit margin. Net profit margin. Okay. In that case, we can go ahead with this. Or we can create gross profit margin also. Okay. Gross profit margin is nothing but the net sales minus the cost of goods divided by net sales. That is the formula. Hope school time we studied, right? What is net profit and how to calculate school time math we said. And then operating profit margin, operating income divided by revenue into 100. That one will give you the, and the net profit margin is a big formula. For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to use this one. For example, we have the price, list price. What I am going to do is I'm going to create a new column, and I'm going to create a new column. So cost price. Here what I am going to do is the list price is there now. Minus the list price Here I don't know the cost price. Okay, that is available in another table. I can bring in here, but for that I need to use a DAX function. It is too early to use DAX function. What I do is list price minus, for example, list minus 12. Okay, subtract 12 from the list price. That is your cost price. You just think, that way. This is my cost price. Next one is cost of goods sold. I'm going to create another custom column. I just say cost of goods sold. Okay, here what we are going to do is I'm going to take this column. Which one? The cost price into the quantity. Into the cost price. This is the one will give me the cost of goods sold. Okay. So, okay, if you see the cost of goods sold, and this is 2,225, and my sales column gives me 2,309. Okay. This is my, okay. If you subtract this one from my sales, that one will give you your profit, right? So that one will give you your net profit. Or else we wanted to find out the gross profit margin. Okay. But in that case, you just assume that whatever the column, the sales, what we have is a net sales. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new column. In the new column, I just say, gross profit margin, gross profit margin. Gross profit margin. Here I'm going to say sales. Where is my sales column? This is my what? This is my net sales minus my cost of goods sold. See, school time we studied, right? Selling price minus cost price, that is what your profit. Okay. Here, this is your cost price. This is selling price. Okay. We have used the listed price. Here we have taken the product of list price into the quantity. And here we have used the cost price. We took the product of cost price with your quantity. Okay. Cost of goods sold. So now this one will give me the profit, but we want this one to be in more. Okay, so what I am going to do is I just sales column. So here the formula is okay. Here I'm going to use the okay here. Okay, sales minus cost of goods. So here what I do is I just use the parenthesis. And then at the end of it, I'll put another parenthesis into 100. I click on OK. Here I can see that the gross profit margin, what will use as fixed, this one. And if you see here, we can see that there are some error here. And okay, so why are we getting error here? Let me just check the infinity. Okay, so in this case, we need to use something called is blank. Okay, this is a classic example. So how do we prevent this kind of error? Okay, so what we will do is how do we handle the error? The interview they'll ask you, how do we handle error? Okay, so here what I am going to do is gross profit margin. So when will you get infinity? Anything divided by zero, right? If you don't, okay. Sorry, anything divided by zero. Okay, you will get that one. Here the sorry, 0 divided by anything is 0. Anything divided by 0 is infinity. So here we are getting something like, the sales. How come sales gets, let me just check, are there any problem? Yeah, here we have the sales. Let me just see, do we have Yeah, we have something called 0 is there, right? We have something called 0 is there. And if I unselect it, yeah, you remember we have replaced the blank value by 0, isn't it? The NA, we replace the NA by 0. You remember? That is what we did. Look here the replaced value 1. Look here, NA by 0 in sales column. In that case, if you divide any value divided by 0, it will become infinite, isn't it? So any of this, the rows that have 0 in it, we don't have any sales, we don't have to worry about that. But if it is throwing an error, let it be there. What you can do is you can right click on it. See, after validating the data only, you need to take the course of action. Blindly don't take any. Look here, I'm going to replace the errors by 0 because we don't have any sales value for that. Hence, we are going to replace that by 0. Now, if you see error is 0, valid is 100%. Good. So you learned about the couple of transactions, the transformation, cost of goods sold, cost price. We have derived the cost of, see, cost price we have derived. So this is just for assumption. Okay, what we are doing is, for each product, they keep just 12 rupees margin. Okay, we just think that way. Okay, so that's how what we did. We have subtracted 12 rupees from each price. First of all, we derived the list price by dividing the sales by quantity. Okay, that's how we derived this one, and then we have derived this. See, in real-time scenario, the list price will be already available. Okay, you need to go by the list price, and then the cost price. The price will be available in ordered transaction data itself. Okay, unfortunately, in this data set, it is not available. Next, with cost price, we made an assumption that for each product price, they keep just 12 rupees margin. So 329 minus 12, this one. So the cost of goods, how did you arrive it? The cost price into quantity, that gives you the cost of goods sold. And the quantity into list price gives you the sales value. So sales minus cost of goods sold divided by the net sales, right? Net sales minus cost of goods sold divided by net sales into 100, that gives you the gross profit margin. Okay, so you understood? This is GPM, the gross profit margin. Okay, so we are so these are the scenarios we will be creating. The custom column, list price and cost price. And you remember I have created another column. Okay, list price, right? Okay, overall we have created 4 new columns in addition to the existing columns. But in reality, the cost price is available for each product in the product lookup table or the master table or dimension table. Okay, for simplicity's sake, I have derived the cost price, from the list price itself by subtracting the $12 from each product list price. We have blindly, created this one. Usually, we get the cost price for each product from the product master table or the lookup table. For that, we need to use a DAX function. I don't want to use the DAX now because it is too early to use the DAX. Okay, now 1, 2, 3, 4 new columns we created with the help of the custom column menu. Very good. Is there any other scenario where I can use the custom column? Yes, a lot of scenarios. Order date. Look here. Each value in the order date column, we can see that month, date, year, month, date, year. But if you see here, month, date, year. So, okay, end of the day, in this column, they stored the date values, order date values in month, date, year format, which is a US date format. In USA, they use month, date, year format. But unfortunately, the first value in this column and the second value in this column are not in the proper format. To distinguish month, date, year, they are using the delimiter or separator called forward slash here. But whereas here, they are using hyphen. Either you should replace all the forward slash by hyphen or the other way around, right? So if you try to go convert the date now, it will throw an error because the format, one value to another value itself different. Hence, we need to convert these values into common consistent format. So how do I do that? Keep the cursor over here, right click on it, replace values. Now what I do is I want to replace hyphen. Wherever hyphen is there, you can use the forward slash and then you can click on OK. If you see advanced option, match entire cell, replace using special character, something like that. But here, nothing like that. Okay. So now if you see, we could see a common consistent format we have used across the rows in this column values. Okay. So next what I do is I click on the ABC because the order date column is supposed to be date data type. So what happens is Power BI, when it reads the data from a file or any table, right? So it assigns the data type on its own. Okay. Since we have the special character like forward slash and hyphen or placed along with the numerical value, it considers a text data type and it assigns the entire order date column as a text data type. We know very well this is not a text data type. Order date is a date data type. So what we are doing is we reformatted it and in the required for consistent format. Okay. The next one is we click on it instead of using date time. So better you can go for using locale because it is a US date format. So here the data type for the date is obviously date and it is not a English India. It is a English United States because month, date, year format is used in USA, United States. I just click on OK. Look here now, along with the order date, we can see the calendar icon, which means this column got successfully converted to date data type, and we don't see any error. We don't see any empty date. Very good. So what is the use? This you taught me already. What is so big deal about it? So now what I do is I just selected the order date. So now I want to create 3 or 4 new columns based on this column. Why should I create 3 or 4 more columns based on this one? Because we want to do some like for like analysis. Month on month, what is the sales? Year on year, what is the sales? Quarter on quarter, what is the sales? And day on day, what is the sales? So in this case, what happened? I'm going to duplicate this column. Right click on it, duplicate column. You might be asking this, why do I need to duplicate? Let's say if I have 25 million records, if I, duplicate the column, don't you think it will consume too much of storage space? That is a different thing altogether. We'll discuss that one later point in time. So what I do is I just look here in the add column ribbon, we have an option called date. So I have duplicated the order date column. I selected this one now, and then the date column got enabled. The menu got enabled. If I click on this, you have a lot of options here. So year, when I click on year, what happens? Only the year from this column got extracted and then it got stored here. Supposing your manager is asking you, he wants to compare 2013 and 2012 year sale data, you can directly use this column to filter it, isn't it? You can directly. Apart from this, he wants to know, okay, 2012, 2013, I want to compare quarter 1 of 2012 with quarter 1 of 2013. So in that case, you can go ahead with the quarter of year. Click on the quarter. Just pointing and clicking it, we are able to extract which quarter this date falls in. So this date falls in third quarter. This date falls in first quarter. This date falls irrespective of the year, right? So it extracts the quarter of the given date. Given any date, it extracts the quarter automatically irrespective of the year also, right? So this is good. So now what you can do is you can select all the for here itself. Look here. If I select quarter 3, 3 alone, what happens is here. Look here, 2012 quarter 3, 2014 quarter 3. This sales we made in third quarter, right? Likewise, you can see it here. Okay, you can do the analysis now with this one. So quarter is ready, and I'm going to select this one, and then I'm going to select this menu date, and then the next one is month. See, month column. Again, I'm going to select order date, and then here I go here, and we have something like name of day. This is a very beautiful one. If I ask you 31/7/12/2012, which day was this one? Is that a Monday or Tuesday? You need to go and take a look at the calendar manually, right? It takes time. Look here, in a matter of jiffy, now it gives you which day, right? In day in text, okay? Name or day name. It gives the day name for any given day automatically. So with this also you can plot a chart. For example, Monday through Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. What are the sales? What is the profit? All the things you can see. So in this case, what happened? I just selected the order date column and then the date menu, and then I selected which week is that. Okay, and when you click on it, it gives you the week number. All you need to just click on this, select year. If you click on here, a new column get created. So this is also kind of a custom column, but this one gets created implicitly. So year, quarter, month, day, name. Based on now, I don't need this column. Can I remove it? If I remove it, what will happen? Nothing will happen. Look here. Temporarily, I use that column. I duplicated the column. I temporarily. Now the question is, why can't I extract directly here? For example, if I select this one, and then the add column date is available. If I go and select something like start of month. Okay, 1 second. Okay, you can do it that way also, but safer side, right? You can do it, you can duplicate the column and then you can do it, or else you can do it directly. But in the previous version of the Power BI, if you select the date column and then if you select year, what happens is this column, entire column of the order date will be filled with only the year. You will be losing the original column value here. This one will be replaced by year. So that's why what we do is we duplicate this column and then we do it. But in this case, you don't have to do it in the latest version. Okay, you can extract the year directly from this one. So now we understood how to create a custom column, right? And then even, for example, if you select date, there's something called the age year. For example, if you click on this, you have something called age 3825 or something like that. Okay, the time with respect to the time, and then fixed decimal number. If I see 300825 something like that, you are getting age also here. Anyhow, here it doesn't make any sense. In this case, I just go here and then. So now we understood, what all the scenarios in general we create. We use a custom column. The next one is the conditional column. I'm going to click on the conditional column now. So based on we are going to define some rule here. If you have the customer, the data bar, what you can do is you can extract the age of the customer, and then you can create the age bucket so that you can do some kind of analysis like which age group are we getting more sales. Okay, fine. So now what we do is, in this case, we don't have any age column. I'm going to use the list price column. For example, here I'm going to create the price bucket. Here I'm going to say the list price. If the list price is less than, for example, less than how much we have here, yeah, less than, 300. 300, I call this as a low price. Okay, those products, list prices falling less than 300, we call it a low price one. And then if you want add additional condition, add a clause. Again, you select the list price, and then if this one is less than, Here, what you do is, let's you have something called 800 something. Anything less than 800, medium price. Again, you can add a clause. So look here, if, else if, else if. If this condition is true, then do this. If this is not true, for example, you are getting something like 800. 800 is not less than 300. And sorry, 700. 700 is not less than, hence it comes here. Okay, obviously 700, the list price 700 less than 800, hence it is medium. Okay. So here it is very much important to correctly define the order of the conditions. Okay. So next what I do is I just select the list price again. The list price is greater than, this time what I do is, if the list price is greater than something like, 800 or so, okay, greater than 800, less than 800 or greater than 800, or is greater than or equal to 800, I just say high price. And I'm going to hit OK here. Let's see what happens here. Medium, high, low, all the three categories got defined here. Look here, if you want to see the condition again, you can go to the right side of this one, just beneath the applied steps. The last step, this is the one we carried out. Next to that, you have the wheel icon. If you click on it, it will open this conditional column dialog box. Here, what you can do, you can change it. If you want to change it, you can change it. Okay, I press. Supposing what I think, now we have something else called else class here, right? If the condition is true, do this. If the condition else, if this condition, if the values of the list price falls in this range, you do this one. Okay, if anything that is not falling in the first two, then you do this one. You can remove this condition also. For example, I'm going to remove this one. If you want to remove the condition, you need to select this three dot here. This is called your ellipses. I just click on it, delete it. Next, what I do is I blindly keep high. So you don't have to define one more rule here. Let's see what happens when I click on OK. So now also it gives me the correct thing. Okay, anything which is not falling between the range that we define for the low and medium, the rest of them will be considered as high. So this is one of the examples for creating conditional column. Okay, and the next one is the column from examples. We have something else called the column from example. This is a very super awesome feature that is available in Power BI, Power Query Editor especially. Okay, so supposing you wanted to supposing you don't know what kind of M language, or right, what kind of function that I use it to perform the data transformation. Okay, in that kind of scenario, right, you can go for column from examples. For example, if I just go here and one second, yeah, we have something called country state column is available here. Let's see, your manager has given you, or your customer has given you the data set, this data set. In this data set, you have something called country state column as well, but you have a separate country column. But what happened? The state and country, values, right? They put it in a single column. In other words, along with the country, they put the state value here. Along with the country, they put they included, along with the country, they specified the state value. Now they want the state column to be separated from the country column. They want the country and state to be stored in a separate column instead of having a single column. So we have an option called split. When you right click on this column name here, you will have some split column. there are options by delimiter, by number of character, by. For example, if I select delimiter, so here what happens is, if you see here, United States, followed by that we have blank space, and then states is there. Followed by states, we have blank space, and then new is there. And then followed by new, we have a space here. Look here, each and every word is followed by a blank space, isn't it? But if I use delimiter, leftmost delimiter, rightmost delimiter, or each occurrence of the delimiter, what will happen is the united will get separate, it will get separated from this column. So there is a separate column for united, there is a separate column for sales, there is states, there is a separate column for new, and there is a separate column New York. So if I use leftmost, whatever the values that are left to the blank space will be separated. Rightmost also same thing, right? All these three things will do the same thing only. And advanced options, like if you click on this here, one second, if you click on the quote character, so you don't have any quote and all available here in this value, okay? So, but this one will not work, split by column delimiter, because this is a little bit complex. Why it is complex? If you see here, United States, this country itself have two words in it, and followed by the country name, you have a state called New York. But New York also, it requires two words, right? And but on the other hand, if you look at Australia country name is a single word, followed by that, we have a state by the name of New South Wales. It is completely unstructured data. Okay. And here followed by Australia also New South Wales, right? So in that case also, you cannot go by the split column option that is provided as per the Power Query Editor. And in the next record, if it's Australia, this state name is one word, but this state name have three words in it. Very difficult to, but again, you can use the Power Query language, which is nothing but the M language like this, to split this column, but it is a little bit complex. And again, it is a bit challenging to find out which function should I use it. Okay, so in that kind of situation, we have something, a column from examples comes for our rescue. What I do is, I selected this column, and then I just go to the column from examples icon, and then I click on the the drop down thing here. I select the from selections, because I don't want to select all the columns. My problem is with country state, hence I'm going to use the from selection. A new column got created. When I clicked on the from selection from column from examples, after selecting this column, a new column got created. Now what I do is I just click on it here. And what I do is I'm going to teach the Power Query Editor by typing the pattern, the text pattern. For example, United States. Then I press enter. Okay. So here also, here what I do is, look here, the moment when I typed United States, and if you scroll down here, United States, North Carolina, look here, United States, United. So when I type the two words, it learned the pattern. Hey, wherever the two words are there, in that case, you need to, extract only the two words. Rest of them you can ignore it. United States, okay. Australia new, okay. Australia Queensland, okay. Two words. But here the challenge here is, the Australia is a single word. It is not a two word. So now what I do is I just go and type Australia here. Press enter. So now it understood two patterns. Australia, okay, here also the Australia, look here, Australia, New South Wales. Wherever the Australia, with the combination of Australia and New South Wales, it has to extract only the Australia. Here also, Australia, look here, the same thing is repeating, Australia, New South Wales. Hey, in this case, with the combination of state and country, you just typed Australia. In this combination, I need to extract only one word. Look here, it did a perfect job, isn't it? It's quite interesting, right? And similarly, but here it got confused. But followed by Australia, we have only one word, not three words. So hence what, it simply put that value. It simply put that value as it is, Australia. I just type it here. In this case, what happened? If you have two words, right? Australia, you need to extract only Australia. In this case, right, followed by Australia, three words, it did this. And then can we see any other Australia here? We don't see. Yeah, look here, Australia, New South Australia. Australia, so New South Wales, fine. And then can we see Australia? Look here, two words, retain only one word. It did the fantastic job, isn't it? In order to separate this, we need to type some sample words here, based on which it learns the pattern. Hey, in this case, you extract only the two states. When it comes to Australia, anything followed by Australia, you keep only Australia. Even in this case, anything followed by something, right, you keep Australia. Okay. And okay, in order to do this one, right, United States, look at United States, Afghanistan, K. But in this case, again, you type sample data here. But if there is no option like column from examples was available, what would have happened is you need to write a script like this. Can you see that? Splitter dot split text by delimiter within the parenthesis Australia, comma, code style dot none, comma, and country state in text combine. It's a very big one, right? So here you don't have to write any code, okay? And simply type the pattern. So what pattern you want the data to be extracted, United States. So, and then I'm going to click on OK here. My column is ready. But still, the Germany, you need to type the same thing about Germany and Senegal. He might be asking this question, sir, I have 50 million records are there. Do I need to keep typing it like this? But you don't have to type 50 million records. The only option is, okay, if you are very good in writing a for DAX function like this, you can go ahead and do it. Okay. So sometimes what will happen is you do not know what DAX function, not DAX function, the M language functions. Okay. Which M function should I use it? Okay, I know add column is a function, table dot add column. With that, I can create a new column. I know text dot combine, but how to put all these functions together and how do we search? It's painful, isn't it? It takes a lot of time. Hence, simply leverage this column from examples features in this kind of scenario. Another classic example is, for example, apart from this kind of scenario, what other scenario? This is very much helpful. Order date. I just select order date. Okay. Supposing you wanted to convert this order date column in such a way the year should appear first, year, month, date. Okay. So how do I convert this? You don't have to break your head. Simply click on column from selection. Here you just type sample value. So 2012 hyphen 07 hyphen 31. It's not understanding the pattern with this one alone. So it needs some more data to be fed, sample data 02 and 05. I just press enter. Look here, that's it. But here there is some issue, right? So because here the month values prefixed with 0, but here what happens, the same thing it is doing it. You tell, hey, anything you find a 2-digit value for the month, for that you don't have to prefix 0. So that pattern you need to tell him, you need to teach him, like kids how we teach pattern. Okay, if you find something hole, pothole in the road or somewhere, you don't go there. Okay, so likewise you need to teach this one for the pattern. That's now you look here, is doing a fantastic job, right? So for this, what function? Text dot combine date to text. First you need to convert this from text data to date data type, and then extract only the year, and then subtract date to text. It's painful, right? It takes a lot of time. Okay, so now your job is, it made your life, the developer life, pretty simple. Which one? The column from examples. So far we learned about the custom column, and then we learned about the conditional column, and then we learned about the column from examples. Next one is we will take a look at something called invoke custom function. Okay, what is a function first of all? What is a function? Why do we need to use a function? So have you ever used a function? In any programming language, if you take any program, function is very common. There are two types of function in general. One is the user defined function, other one is built-in function like table dot add column, text dot combine. These are all the built-in functions. These are the functions already created by someone else. No, but in my case, apart from these built-in functions that are available as part of the Power Query editor, I want to create my own function. Okay, first of all, the question is, why do I need to create a function, my own function? What is the advantage of creating a function? Right, so reusability. For the sake of reusability, we are creating functions. Okay, we are creating functions. So now the question is reusability. The purpose of creating the function is for reusability. 1 second, I just write it here. This is a fundamental thing. Okay, what is the purpose of creating function? Reusability. Something like a ready mix. Ready mix. Suppose you want to prepare any breakfast, right? You don't have to spend a lot of time in preparing the recipes for it. You don't have to waste time in preparing the recipes and mixing the recipes with the appropriate ratio, all the things, right? You don't have to do everything. Everything is already available in a retail shop, ready mix. Okay, the ready mix is already available. For example, you want to prepare a sweet, right? Jamun, ready mix is already, they mixed all the necessary ingredients in it. All you need to just bring home, buy this, and then probably you put milk or something like that. That's it. And then you shape it in the required format or required shape, right? You need all you need to just create the required shape and then put it in oil and boil it. That's it. Ready mix, right? The same thing. Once you create a function, you can reuse it. The other advantage of creative function is it increase the consistency. And then importantly, it reduces the redundancy. Redundancy. The classic example is, the net salary. We want to compute the net salary for each employee. In the case of TCS, they have close to approximately, right? 5.5 lakhs employees are there. We want to compute the net salary for each and every employee of TCS. In that case, what we know, what is the simple formula for the sake of simplicity, right? Earnings minus deductions. But deductions, what are the deductions? Advance, you would have bought advance from the company, loss of pay, all the things, right? So all these things you need to be separate. Basic earnings also like basic plus HRA plus bonus plus special allowance plus so on and so on. All these things you need to add it and then subtract it from the deductions, right? The earnings minus deduction, that is the one will give you net salary. For earnings itself, you need to use 5 to 6 columns to add it. And then deductions, you need to add 3 to 4 columns. And then after adding 3 to 4 columns, you need to subtract this from the values that you added with the 6 columns, right? You will get the net salary. But for each and every employee, if you go and add all the basic plus HRA plus special allowance plus bonus plus conveyance, all the things, it takes a lot of time, right? And again, if you use the formula repeatedly, there is a kind of a redundancy, right? You are using the function each and every line. Okay, but when you use it every line, what will happen is there could be chances you might tend to use some other formula. So in that case, it can lead to some kind of inconsistency, and then it can lead to some kind of redundancy Instead, what you do is, this is the formula, right? Put it in a common place called function. So I call simply, I apply this function for each and every employee. This can give me the net salary. That's it, guys. This is what the function. This is the advantage of function. You take any programming language. This is the purpose. That is the purpose. This is the whole advantage of creating a function. Reusability, and it increases the consistency, and it reduces the redundancy. Okay, now in Power BI, how we can create a custom function, user-defined function, how we can create it. It's pretty simple. We will start with a very simple example. For example, in this case, we are in a Power Query editor. On the left side, you have the queries pane, right? Queries 2. And then in the empty space, just beneath this one, I right click on it. And then we will find something called new query. In this, you will find something called blank query. I just click on the blank query. And here what I do is, here I'm going to create a function. So what I will do is, in this case, equal sign followed by this parenthesis, open parenthesis, closed parenthesis. Inside of this, I'm going to use a parameter a, or let's say a as number. And followed by this, we'll start with a simple example. Equal sign greater. This is called your rocket arrow. This is called rocket arrow. So this is your function definition. Okay, in this argument. Okay, the you can give any name for the argument. This is also argument or parameter. Followed by this parameter as this is a reserved word, keyword. Okay, and then you need to specify the data type. So now what this one is all about is, inside the parenthesis, you need to specify what parameter that you are going to use it. This is the keyword. Okay, you cannot see here. For this, you can use whatever name that you wanted, but here you cannot use whatever name that you want. This is a keyword. Okay, reserved word, and you need to tell this function what data type this parameter. This is a number data type. And then next one is, I have followed by this, I have used the rocket symbol, rocket arrow. And here what I do is a star a. I'm going to use it like this. Look here, no error. Earlier I was getting error, now no error. So followed by the rocket arrow, this is your, whatever you see here is your expression. In this case, it is nothing but your function body. It's something like head and body, right? This is where you specify the business logic. In this case, I have created a very simple function. So first you need to specify the equal sign, followed by this, you need to use the open and close parenthesis. Inside of the, you need to specify whatever the number. Supposing you want to include one more parameter, comma b as number. The data type is very important. If it is a number type. If it is a text, you need text, and if it is a date, you need to use it. Okay, a cross. Okay, done. I'm created a function, and here what I do is, see, since there is no syntax error, it gives me something like enter parent. That means this function got created. It is asking me to enter some value for this parameter a. If I give 2 here, and then if I hit the invoke button, what will happen is this 2 will get copied to this value a. So the 2 will get copied. You just remember now a has gone here, 2 is there. And then this 2 will get copied here. So 2 into 2, if I click on invoke, what will happen? The 2 into 2 calculation will happen inside of the function body, and then it will return the output as 4. You understood? Okay. So this is ends, right? You can pass any value. So in this case, what happened? We did not specify 2 here. If you instead of a, if you specify 2, all the time it gives you 2 into 2, 4. But here I'm using a generic name, parameter. Okay. So hence, whatever value I want, I can type it here. When I click on invoke, this value will get copied here, and this value will be passed to this one. Supposing if I type 4 here, if I type 4 here, if I type 4 here, the 4 will get copied here, 4 into 4, 16. If I click on invoke, what happens? Look here, can you see 16 here? Can you see 16 here? 4 into 4 is 16. So now I create a function only once. If I pass any value, for example, I want to know 256. 256 squared, right? So 256 into 256, what is the value? Difficult to do. You need to take a pen and paper and count it, or you need to use a calculator. Here, this is my calculator. If I hit the invoke button, 256 and 256, what are the values? Look here, 65536 in a matter of a jiffy, I'm able to get it. So the function is a resolve. Once you create it, you can use it as many times as you want it. You don't have to write this logic again and again. Okay. Usually, if I ask, the third standard student, right? So to do square, you will type 2 here, 2 into 2, 3 into 3, right? Instead of passing the value itself, right, as it is, we are using some generic name here. This is nothing but parameter. Okay. So now what I do is, okay, this function is, I tested it, is working perfectly. Look here, fx. If you find any query, if you find any query, along with fx, that means this is a function, custom function. Right click on it, rename it, give some meaningful name. Square me. This function, what it does? It does square me. Whatever value you give it, it will square it. Okay, so it is a reusability, right? This is one of the example. And the next question is, okay, I'm going to right click on it and then duplicate it. I just copied the same function here. Now what I do is I just take, instead of using only one parameter, I'm going to use another parameter, b as number. Now listen, your manager is saying, okay, square the value of the, you take any value and square it and add it by 10. Sorry, the 10 is nothing but the b here. You're not supposed to use it here, or add whatever the value that you pass it to be, right? Square the value, and whatever the value that I needed, I should be able to add it with the squared value. And I just press enter. Let me see any syntax and nothing. Look here, a b. So here what I do is I take 4 into the 4 will get copied here. Look here, this 4, sorry, this 4 will get copied here. But this 4 will not get copied here because this is not A, this is B. Okay, whatever the value that you type it here, that one will get copied here. Okay, and then the A, whatever the value got copied, that one will be passed here. So for example, here 4, the 4 will 4 into 4, 16. Supposing if I type 10, 16 plus 10, 26. This is your business logic. Okay, this is where you need to specify business. The same example, HRA, basic, HRA, comma, you C as number. So there you specify something like LOP. Okay. So for example, okay, let me do one thing. First, we will test it, and here I give 10. So what is the output? 4 into 4 will get copied here, 10 will get copied here. So this 4 will be passed here, and B value is 10 will get copied here. So A is 4. 4 into 4, 16, plus B is 10, 26. If I hit the button, invoke, look here, 26. Can you all see it here? 26. It's doing the perfect job. So again, I'm going to click on the square me to. Here, what I do is, instead of giving some A, B, C, I'll give you some meaningful name, HRA. Sorry, basic. And here I'll say HRA, and here I want to say basic plus HRA minus LOP. So here you need to specify the LOP argument, also a parameter LOP as number. So got it. If I press enter, yes, my function got created successfully. In the basic, if I say, listen, you are getting 45,734, and HRA is, let's say you are getting 38,000, sorry, let's 11,000 or 18,322, and LOP, you have taken leave, so 1,200 LOP. Or for simplicity's sake, I just 50,000, and then here I say 20,000 for the sake of calculation, our calculation, okay. And if I say 1,000 here, or let's say 10,000. You just think about that way. Okay. So 50,000 plus 20,000, 70,000 minus the 10,000. How much? 70,000 minus 10,000, 60,000, right? So this 50,000 will get copied here, and this 20,000 will get copied here. This 10,000 will get copied here. So what is the formula? This is what the formula here. So this is your function body. You simply get all the values, whatever the users key in, that value you need to pass it to your function body. That's all. Here we specify the formula. This is your earnings minus deductions. Got it? So once you define it, you can use the same function to calculate the net salary for each and every employee. You understood? Look here, when I hit the invoke, how much should I get? 50 plus 20,000. Basic is 50,000, 20,000, 70,000. LOP is 10,000. 60. If I click on the hit, look here, 60,000. Yes, it is doing the calculation perfectly. So whatever the thing, right? Whatever the basic, because basic HRE LOP will vary from person to person, right? So if you specify any value, it will be passed here, and then it will apply this formula, and then it will return the outputs. This formula is not as easy as how we think, right? In real time, basic plus HRA plus allowance, and plus allowance also you need to derive it with some condition. If their sales performance is more than that, right? So your allowance is eligible for many formulas. Okay, so all this logic you put it here, and when I give it to you, right, all you do just click on this. It will ask you basic HRLOP. You need to enter the value. That's all. Click on invo. It will give you the answer. You don't have to worry about the formula, all the things. Complex formulas will be there. Business logic will be there, right? So here I give some meaningful name. Right click on it. Okay, let me do one thing. I just right click on it and rename it with net calculate net salary. See, if I give this function to anybody, they don't have to be aware of the formulas. In this case, the formula is pretty simple. In real life scenario, the formula is very, very complex one, right? So they don't have to break their head. Simply click on this one. Other thing is, right, consistency. So the formula is, the business logic is a bit complex, right? So what will happen is, if I ask each and every payroll person to calculate the salary manually on their own, what will they might tend to use different formulas, right? What I will do is at the corporate office, I'm going to sit with some senior guys, and he'll come up with the business logic. We test it everything thoroughly, and then what I will do is I will send this thing to all the branch people, ask them to use this function to calculate the net salary. That's it. Hence, there is no chance of inconsistency. Oh, other branch, they use different formula. You don't have to end up with this kind of confusion. Once you create it in your corporate, that can be used by, let's say you are having 20 branches. Each branch you have 10,000 employees or approximately, right? So they simply, send them, use this one. If you don't send the formula, what they might use some other formulas mistakenly, right? So and then there will not be any consistency. So it increases the consistency. You don't have to use the same formula for each and every employee. Simply put it everything, and it'll reduce. You'll not end up having redundant code. Got it? This is what the custom function is all about. I'll give you some exercise. You can try with that exercise, so that okay. Now the question is, okay. So I just do one thing. Even see, currently I'm in Power Query Editor. Can I load a data, being inside yes, that is possible. I'm going to use a new source, and here I'm going to click on the text CSV. I'm going to use another thing called emp1.csv. I have something called emp1.csv. I'm going to load this file purposefully to demonstrate this one, the custom function. Look here, I have something like this, right? So you have some salary and LOP. This is your earnings and deduction. Okay, I just click on OK. Okay, what I do is I just go and do one thing here. HRA is not required, because in that data set we have only Basic minus HR. Let me do one thing. Basic minus LOP. Okay. So this function is ready. What I am going to do is I'm going to use this function on this table. In this table, I have the salary, the earnings and deduction is already available. But I need to apply this function, calculate net salary. One second. On this, table, the values like salary and LOP. For example, if I select this one, salary and LOP. So this function should take these two column values and calculate the net salary for each and every employee. That net salary for each and every employee should be stored in a separate column along with this column. Okay. So how do I do that? I created the function already. Here I implemented the formula in a business logic. I'm going to reuse it. How do I reuse it? Okay, that is the question now. So now what I do is I just click on this one and I just say here, and then I go to the add column here. Here we are some invoke custom function. I'm going to hit this one. Okay, here what I do is I just use net salary. Here I'm going to click on the drop down, calculate net salary. So look here, this is the function. I'm going to reuse it here. I'm not specifying the formula for each and every, because already I created it once how to calculate the net salary. The logic I mentioned it here. So what I am saying is, hey, create a new column by the name of net salary in the employee table, and then take this function, apply this function on so-and-so column. What columns? Look here. Here I go and click on the drop-down column name. Take this salary column, here take this column name, here you just take the LOP. Look here. So these two value will be used as an parameter. This value will be copied to this parameter. What is the parameter here? There's something called basic minus LOP, right? Something like that. So this is your earning minus loss of pay will give you the net salary for each and every employee. I just click on OK here. Let's see what happens. Look here, my net salary is ready. Perfect. If you see here, 10034 your salary, and this value has to be subtracted, right? So here 0 and 100. But if you see here, 120495 minus 25,000, look here, it is doing perfect job. I have created a function, the custom function. Now, see, creating function is not sufficient. You need to test it. We tested it. It is working fine. How did we test it? Manually, enter some value for the some value, right? Salary, HRA, basic. You enter some value and see whether it's doing the correct calculation. Yes. And then what we did it, creating the function and testing is not sufficient. You need to use this function. In this case, what I did, I used this function in the employee table. And in this case, what happened? I directly gave these two columns as an argument or argument to this function. What happened? It picked up the values from the sales column and then LOP, and then it passed that value to its body. In that body, what we are doing is this one, right? Salary minus LOP gives it is doing it for each. Now you understood what is custom function, invoke custom function. So far, we discussed about the custom column and conditional column, and then we discussed about the column from example, and then we discussed about invoke custom function, how to create a custom function and how to invoke that custom function. We discussed about it. Got it? Understood? Any questions so far? Okay, since not many of them joined, what we will do is we will continue the session this weekend. So tomorrow I'll be a bit busy in the night time. Any of this weekday itself I covered. So this Sunday night, 9 p.m. we will continue. Okay. And then what it is tomorrow, I'll give you some exercises. You can try it out. Watch all my videos. Another thing is, right, most of the other participants, they did not join the weekday session also. Only 50% of people joined. And so in that case, what happened? And also, those of you who have not joined, those of them did not join, you can watch my video start from the end. Okay, till today's session. Look here, this is the channel where I upload all the videos temporarily. You go and take a look at it, and then I'll give you some assignments. Send you the assignments sometime tomorrow afternoon also. You can, or morning I will send you by 11:45 or so. You can work on that assignment, okay, and then you can and then watch all my videos so far, whatever I covered. Okay, don't disregard, don't postpone it. Okay, that is the reason why most of the students, even after completion of the training, they are struggling. Okay, they are not able to recollect, and then they have to take a break. You don't take a break and all, right? So you can practice it on the fly. When you attend the training programs, you can practice it. And then once you complete, as soon as we complete the training program, if you review the topics, whatever I covered then and there, then the chances are high that your transition will be pretty simple, right? Probably after completion of time, 1 week, you take a break and then you revise whatever I have covered so far, right? And then take up the mock interview. We will prepare your resume, everything. We will float your resume and then we'll place you, okay?